I expect eUnited to be a really fast-paced team. Like if we want to beat them, we've got to match their pace. I think they're just going to be flying at us all the time, so we just got to match that.
Epsilon is a team I've seen in CWL Birmingham. I saw them play, some of their gameplay. It's really fast.
To beat eUnited, I think we just got to match their pace and just fly at them.
A lot of teams kind of struggle with different personalities, different play styles. Their probably best attribute is the fact that they're probably all on the same page and they all know what they want to do. If we win our S&Ds, I have no problem bringing it to a Game 5.
I feel like we can beat eUnited if we go last map, in one series maybe, and with the next series I think we'd take them 3-1 or 3-0.
Every single game in this series matters today. Even if Epsilon loses, they're still in a race with Luminosity to see who is going to have the best record, not only in series count, but more importantly, map count. So before we kick off this first game, real quick, Joe, break it down for us. What is on the line for these two teams? How tight is the race right now for second?
Yeah, so I believe Luminosity, I believe they sit at a 9 and 8 map count. I believe Epsilon, they sit at 8 and 7. So it's super close. One map sort of different is the difference between them. So if you're Epsilon, of course you want to win all of the series today, but you have to make sure you take maps. Do not get 3-0'd, and if you can, make sure you 3-0 Millennium later on today.
Search and destroy is going to be key for this Epsilon squad. We've seen some great games from them in Search. We've seen some terrible games from them in Search. And if you look at the leaderboard, you have to be aware of what eUnited has been able to accomplish. They dropped S&D early on to LG, but then they came back, won a Game 5. That's what kind of set the tone on day one. Gunless is up top with a 1.54. He's always involved with the objective as well, getting those camos. Silly and Arcity's right behind him. Now, a player that's on the board here for Epsilon, we have Hawkeye. He's had some great doubles, but Vortex has been their consistent player. The guy who struggled at number 16 out of all 16 players, it's Dave, who had a great hard point, but other than that, he's been off this weekend.
One thing you have to note, though, is he did have that 0-8 game, so that's going to weigh down your KD in a specific game type pretty heavily in a group situation like this. I think he's going to bounce back in Search and Destroy specifically. The one thing we have to note on Dave, though, the S&D might be a bit poor from him, but we saw that performance yesterday where they were able to get that win on Retaliation. That streak he went on was absolutely insane. He's the reason they got that victory.
Yeah, it's just a player we talked about, right? He's one of these star slayers on Epsilon. He talked about in an interview yesterday. He said, I was getting world stars the way he put it. So if he's able to play, I mean, if you look at their series yesterday against eUnited, it was just a few hard points separated by a few points where that could go game number 5. So looking at these maps, you have breakout hardpoint, throwback search and destroy, throwback uplink, really quick maps. So you know, looking at eUnited, it's going to be tough to keep up with that pressure.
eUnited, we know Gunless and Pristini are going to be flying. Epsilon has to match that aggressiveness. So we have 5 seconds, guys. 2-word predictions. Who you calling? What's the score?
I want Epsilon to win this first series, but I'm going to have to go with eUnited 3-1.
Epsilon Game 5.
eUnited 3-0.
eUnited 3-0, TP's calling it. I agree. Let's hear from our casters. Mr. X Maven, how do you see this one going down?
I'll tell you what, a 3-0 would be devastating for Epsilon's chances this weekend. I like what Dave said in the interview. He's like, you know, we'll play him tough the first series. I think we got him 3-0, 3-1 the second time around. If they play like they did against Luminosity last night, they can definitely beat this eUnited roster.
Without a doubt, you're going to rely on Dave heavily, though, in the respawn game modes. He's been their explosive player, and we can jump right into game number 1.
I like that.
Breakout hard point. Now, usually the European teams, not the best at this map, Maven, but Epsilon, they play at such a fast pace, they may be able to take it to eUnited.
This is one, though, where we've seen eUnited drop. I know they're fantastic at hardpoint, but this is when we've seen them drop on occasion. I think there is a very good chance for Epsilon to come out and shock them in map 1. They're doing a good job off the start. Not a single kill in yet for eUnited. 5 up for Epsilon.
And the map count is huge, like Joe is saying on the desk, because Epsilon and Luminosity, they both split series with each other, both at 3 and 1. So it's going to come down to that overall map count if those two teams tie. And right now, I mean, Epsilon in a great spot because they 3-0 Millennium.
Yeah.
They won.
That was really a huge win for them. And they beat them so convincingly. You got to feel good about their chances when they face up against them today. Josh finds 1 kill. I mean, look at the score right now, man. Josh is 4-0, but you have a 35-0 lead. This is a perfect opening for Epsilon. You have the spawns, except look at that number 8, the top right of the minimap. That's going to be Arcity's trying to play this sneaky role. They have to find this kill. All right, he gives up his position. That's actually big.
Yeah, now Epsilon is going to be able to just hunt him down in the back. It's going to be Hawkeye picking up the kill. Vortex starting things off 7-1. He falls. Josh still has yet to die. Dave with an odd scoreline, 1-0 through the first 30 seconds of the game. But man, Epsilon just battering eUnited so far in game number 1. It's a real shock to me.
This is a map you can beat them on. They've shown weaknesses at times. And Dave with the two-piece, 3-0 to start the scoreline, 66-0. Can eUnited get a single point going in this game?
They're trying to get onto cell block.
There we go.
Finally going to get a score here as Vortex just sitting on the outside, knows there's more players from eUnited. The inside of this hard point, going to slide in with the ERAD, not able to pick up any more. But you see on the top of your minimap, Epsilon, they've already rotated over towards Grave. They're going to give up the final few seconds here on cell block. And I like this decision. You don't want to just keep throwing good money after bad. You want to go to that next hard point and set up.
And let's see, you saw Josh with that Trinity rocket. It's going to fall on eUnited to try and get a huge control early on one of these hard points, force him into using that so he doesn't have it down the stretch if this game does end up being tight towards the end. It's going to be Dave in the hard point, though, racking up time. Josh picking up kills outside. Dave, good job backing down, staying alive, smokes out, but perfect use here of the movement, able to find the kill. He is just doing an excellent job using the tractor inside. Hockey looking over him in the back. This is perfect, man.
And, for a lot of Call of Duty fans, I mean, these guys may not be necessarily household names, Epsilon, right? I mean, that you would say right now they're the second best team in Europe, but the one you may just know is Josh from this squad. Obviously played with Splice, knows some success on other Call of Duties, multiple games, multiple teams. But these other three players, man, Dave, Vortex, and Hockey, so talented. We saw what they did at COD Champs last year. And, they got off to a slow start at the beginning of this year, May, but they're really picking it up.
Well, they got off to a hot start here. Dave streaked out 8-1. This is just a devastating beginning for eUnited, but what flawless play coming in for Epsilon. So now you have 2 Trinity rockets to work with, a bombardment as well. I mean, if they keep playing like this, they are going to blow eUnited off the map.
You see, I feel like every time, you look at the kill feed, it's just dominated by Epsilon. You can take a look at the scores for eUnited. I mean, we're almost through a full rotation of Hills and Pristini, 2-10. Arciti's 5-8. I mean, it is not pretty. I mean, Gunless leading the team with 6 kills.
It's like, can someone let eUnited know that day 3 has started?
Clearly, they have no idea. I mean, you see at the bottom of the screen, now they're just hitting the wall run. Everybody on streaks for Epsilon.
Yeah, 4 streak for Josh, 6 for Dave. He just keeps going. Dave crushing inside. He finally falls. That's his 2nd death throughout this entire, 4 minutes of gameplay? This is brilliant. They've got a 100-point advantage. They need to keep it going. They're going to get the final couple ticks here in commissary. We'll head back to mid-map, and you know how lopsided this was. It was perfect from Epsilon to open the game.
And Dave will have score streaks. I believe Josh may have streaks as well.
He still has Trinity, I believe, yeah.
Still has the Trinity. So when we go over to Graveyard, you can say, if eUnited gets it close, Epsilon, they do have a lot of utility to break that. So regardless of what happens here, Epsilon in a very good position.
Well, let's get over to Vortex. He's actually picked up 4 in a row. If he can get streaks as well, dear God, he's only 200 off of Trinity. They're going to have the entire team with streaks. Now, he will end up falling, but you got to think, with this big of a lead, we know how many comebacks have happened here, but usually the comebacks happen, behind streaks if you get going, not when the other team still has so much to work with.
You can only come back if you start picking up some kills.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't, you can't really force a comeback. They're not taking anybody out on the opposing team, and I mean, that's really been the story of this game. I mean, Epsilon, they've come out hot. They've come out aggressive, winning a lot of their gunfights. You look on the side of eUnited, nothing. Completely flat, getting no production from really anybody right now.
Yeah.
Not a good game 1 from eUnited.
And I think Epsilon's outslaying them by almost 20 kills right now. We still have a lot to play. Brilliant stuff. The first team inside a cell block is going to be eUnited. Maybe this is their chance to bounce back if they can get a perfect hold. It'll be Pristini inside. You see on X-Ray, he's got a couple outside to deal with. He's being looked over by his teammate, Arciti's. One comes in front. He's going to be taken out over the top from Hockey. And now Vortex also on the kill feed. Is this where Epsilon can burst in? The incidental melee ends up costing you there.
Yeah, I think Gunless actually thought that the player from Epsilon was going to come a little bit closer into the doorway. Was going to be able to just slide in 1 bullet melee, able to take him out. Not the case, though, as you see Dave inside the hard point, searching for more players. Epsilon, though, they will retain control of cell block here for the last 20 or so seconds. eUnited just kind of forced the funnel at the hard point. They're going to rotate. I mean, they can't really afford to rotate here. You're going to go over to Graveyard. They have all these streaks able to break it. This is definitely going to go to Epsilon. Epsilon's going to use these streaks. They're going to break eUnited's setup. They should be able to take a lot of time here.
They called in one streak. I'm not sure if it was from Josh or Dave, but they do find the kills behind it. There's still one player holding inside for eUnited. Can they take him out? Yes, Josh finds the kill. Now they're all going to be pushing out a cemetery. You're set up inside for Epsilon to deal with the pressure on the backside. Let's take a look at Josh's POV. He's trying to find an angle. Up over the top, there is one. Second around the edge, there's the second. Josh going off. There's two more in the back that you saw, and he's about to get another Trinity, another bombardment. There he is, streaked out, 7 for him. How can you even possibly win this game if you're eUnited? You're getting smashed.
It's almost impossible. I mean, when the other team is playing this well, racking up so many kills just consistently inside of the hard point and consecutively as well, they're going to start burning, building towards streaks, have to use those payload abilities. It's damn near impossible.
You have 4 streaks now to use on Commissary if you want to close the game here.
You don't even need it.
Yeah, honestly, they may never even come into it. We talk about the importance of streaks, but you don't need them. Any attempted comeback by United is just going to be slaughtered from the sky.
I mean, Hockey is 16-11 right now. I mean, him and Dave tied, for the bottom slaying department in terms of Epsilon. That would be leading eUnited.
Oh, my.
An ugly game from eUnited.
And there you saw Dave make some noise. Now the bombardment coming in, the final tick. Epsilon crushes eUnited. Welcome to the 100-point club.
It's an ugly, ugly game there from eUnited. Epsilon comes out hot in our game number 1. You can't even say it was just one guy. I mean, they were just so dominant overall.
And in the objective, I think you had 3 different guys with 90 seconds or so. Plus, it was just a perfect game from Epsilon. Wow, and you know how good they get, when the energy gets high, when they're feeding off of each other, when Josh is screaming. But at the same time, we always talk about there's teams that you can never, ever count out in a series. I don't care how bad you get throttled in game 1. eUnited, remember, back to Dallas. Optic destroyed them in the first 2 games. They fight back and push to game 5. They're not out of this.
Well, we also saw in S&D leaderboards, earlier over on the desk. And
True.
3 of the guys on eUnited up at the top. I believe it's Gunless, Arcides, and Silly leading the way for eUnited in Search and Destroy. So this series definitely not over. eUnited, one of the best teams at bouncing back from adversity.
And if you think about day 1, remember Epsilon was able to beat Luminosity in that game 1, then things sort of fell apart. They lost all the momentum when they got destroyed in that game 2 Search and Destroy. You need to win this game 2. Keep your foot on the throat of eUnited.
Well, this also, the more maps that Epsilon wins here, it just forces Luminosity later in the day when they go up against eUnited to just kind of match their score as well.
Oh, if you're shaking in your boots right now if you're Luminosity and you just saw that game 1, because you're like, oh my God, they might 3-0 eUnited.
Oh, if they beat them, oh man, that is bad for LG.
Well, think about it. Since they have the map edge right now, by what, 0.4%, basically just based on percentages, if they were to 3-0 eUnited, then it doesn't even matter if because Luminosity would then basically have to be in a position they kind of have to 3-0 eUnited depending on how those Millennium series go. But you're scared with the fact that Epsilon's already smashed Millennium.
Millennium for me is the most interesting thing coming into today.
They play spoiler.
They're obviously not in a great position to qualify for playoffs. I think just a crazy circumstance were about to happen. But they're in a great position to play spoiler to one of these teams. Both in the middle of the day. Josh and Marky B have a big rivalry. I'm sure he's going to rally up the troops, really play well against Epsilon. And then you don't know. Maybe they beat Luminosity. They feel good. They get another European team into the mix. I feel like Millennium in a great spot today to really make things interesting.
Well, that's kind of my question. Millennium, a lot boils down to just their map counts with Epsilon and with Luminosity. You just wonder if, is there going to be, more unintentional kind of passion from Millennium to want to beat Epsilon just due to the rivalry within Europe, also between the 2 guys like you mentioned. Man, this is going to be crazy. But next up in this first series, it is going to be S&D on throwback, and, you talked again about how insane those statistics were for eUnited. Will that be enough to carry him after an abysmal start?
And, on Crusher, we've seen Pristini with the sniper rifle, but usually on Throwback, this is where you see Arcides with the sniper rifle in his hand. So maybe just a little bit of a wrinkle that eUnited can use to throw Epsilon off.
If Arcides can make an impact early with that sniper, it will absolutely be crucial. But for Epsilon right now, you're flying high. You're just 100-point club, the 2nd best team in the world. Don't let it get to your heads. Deep breaths. Rely on Josh to be that vocal leader you need him to be. you know, the gameplay is going to slow down a little bit now in Search and Destroy.
And I think the absolute worst thing for Epsilon would be if they go up like 2-0 and eUnited reverse sweeps them. Like, this is a team that can go on tilt
but
pretty bad. But they're still in a good spot because they're winning maps.
Exactly. So. Like, you're not even, okay, you're worried, but it's not that bad if they lose it to game 5, right? Obviously, you want to get the win here, and then Luminosity's terrified, but you get 2 maps off of eUnited, and that's as much as most people likely expect them to do. But after that game 1, man, you got to be thinking series win right now for Epsilon.
I mean, if I'm Josh and I'm the vocal leader of this team, I'm like yelling at everybody. Like, this is a must-win series. And especially if you can win it in a 3-0, 3-1 fashion, like a really strong performance, like that sets you up great going through the rest of the day.
Yeah, it'd be nice for Epsilon if it was any team but eUnited. You know, a team that tilts easily, a team that succumbs to pressure, a team that doesn't ever bounce back. Unfortunately for them, this is not one of those teams.
And eUnited, I think they're a team, I know I was talking to them a little bit on stage coming into this match. Like, they could go 6-0. I mean, that would be the first team we've seen that's gone undefeated over the course of the weekend. I think just be very impressive. They can kind of set that tone going into playoffs.
It really would, especially with how well Epsilon has been playing, with how good Luminosity can be and has been at times. It certainly would be incredibly impressive. I mean, the best we've seen were, the 5-1 split with Envy and Splice from the first weekend, as those two went back and forth with a 1-1 map count. Ooh, all eyes now. I mean, you got to think, this has been a very frustrating couple of weeks since week 1, really, for European fans. You know, if you're rooting for those teams to get into the top 8 to play for that 500 grand, it has been tough. You've seen a lot of throwaways in Hardpoint, a lot of chokes. You know, Fnatic on the cusp of making it into the top 2, and then you had Epsilon throw some maps here. Millennium didn't perform as well as maybe you'd want them to, but right now is your best chance. But we're kicking it off with the statistical monster in Search this weekend. It's Gunless.
He's going to go over the top, see if anyone's going to push mid-map through underpass. Doesn't spot anything. And now eUnited, they see that there's going to be some fire at the top of the screen. But, oh, Vortex gets bombed down, does not get out with his life. It's a nice shot there from Arcides with the sniper rifle in his hands. We talked a little bit about it in the pregame. So good on this map with the sniper rifle. It's a risky shot there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be challenged. Oh, Hockey, be careful. But he will get picked up, and Silly that's able to clean that up. It's now going to be 2 players left. They planted bombs so quickly, though, that time really in their favor. Dave, a chance to clutch up. There's one more blow. He gets tagged up, comes back out, and Dave goes clutch. He's now by himself. Silly and Arcides hunting, but they're able to get the defuse because he's pushed back, has to deal with 2 players. Great stuff from eUnited.
Yeah, I mean, Dave in that position doesn't know if there's another player from eUnited going to come challenge him. He knows he has to check bomb, but needs to get some health back before he can do so. But Arcides right away gets on bomb, gets the defusal for eUnited. They will take round 1.
All right, eUnited strike first, and this is one of those rounds you need to win. If you're gifted that quick plant, yes. I mean, the difference maker might be Arcides just getting that pick on the bomb planter, so it's not a 4v4 post plant spot. All right, let's see. Silly long-range gunfight, window to window. Now it's going to be a quick plant on the other side for eUnited, and they can't get the kill. So now it's going to be a 4v4 retake for Epsilon. And it's Arcides again, man. Another first blood with this sniper. You talked about how he could be a difference maker here, and he absolutely has. He's got another. Oh, just barely misses Vortex. Able to take off his head. 2v2 now. Pristini and Gunless going up against Dave and Vortex.
Gunless going to just be watching the bomb. Can call that out to Pristini that nobody's on the site, but Pristini going to get challenged him in with a huge fight there against Dave. Gunless on the other side of the map wins another engagement. 2 big wins from eUnited.
And that's, back to what Clay kind of said last week. You know, you think a lot of times that game 3 is your swing game. You always think the middle game of the series is it, but he said, no, man, it is absolutely the S&D, because no matter how bad you get beat in a game 1, it resets in that Search. It's so different from a gameplay standpoint. You can just turn the series on its head, and then that Epsilon crush it, that, you know, how bad they crush it in game 1 just sort of disappears, right? It completely out the window. Well, Arcides has 2 first bloods. Can he make it 3? He saw a couple of players trying to make up his mind. If that slide doesn't happen right when it does, Vortex's head is across the map.
He's so
scared. There it is. Yeah. God, Arcides now, but 3 first kills for
But you die like that the first round when you're Vortex. Like, why even go back and do the same thing?
Well, this time they might be able to do it. It's going to be all on Arcides. Nice job challenging with the pistol. Can't get away, though, and that will be a round on the board for Epsilon. Well, how do you think they deal with it? What should they try and hit the other bomb site? How do they try and counter what Arcedy's been able to do?
I think you just put some pressure through sidewalk. Like, you're able to get some stuns in the back by Lemon. You know, really kind of just put some pressure on him. Like, force him to hit like a crazy shot. Like, force him to like jump over Lemon, peek a guy on the top of the wall run, and take him out. Like, don't give him easy shots of guys just going on the bomb.
Well, let's see how he does it this time. He's gotten 3 opening kills for his team. Can he make it a 4th? Checking the underpass push. Nobody home. Window. No one there as well. He may have a chance in just a moment, but we'll hop off him for a moment as there's going to be a quick flank coming through. Vortex going to be pushing around the back with Dave. Tags up one. The call. It's going to come in now to eUnited to look to the back. He's already weak. Silly does get finished. Now a 3v2 advantage for Epsilon. Now it's just on Pristini by himself. First gunfight doesn't go his way. Josh gets it. They get the defuse, and they're right back in this. So good job weathering that opening storm from eUnited. They get 2 quick rounds. They look great. Epsilon bounces right back.
And just like that, I mean, Epsilon turns the tides, right? I mean, they get their 2nd round on the board. We're all tied at 2 rounds apiece. And Dave getting very close to that camo. I believe he's 5-2 at this moment in time. Gunless on the other side of things. You know, he's getting the points for planting the bomb, but not really doing much after that.
Yeah, and we'll talk a lot about camo versus camo players. It's such a big payload. And Dave, who's taken a lot of criticism for his S&D gameplay so far this weekend, doing a brilliant job here. And another key thing, Josh, look at this. He's 75 off the Trinity rocket. As he's working on a bit of streaks now, he'll have a free plant here to open things up as there was a stack towards the A bomb site for eUnited.
We'll see how eUnited plays this. Josh will get the Trinity. Now getting close to the bombardment. He's going to fall all the way back here. Probably just going to play his life. I mean, they could use the they could hover the Trinity here, yeah, which it looks like it's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to call this out to his teammates. They're going to know exactly where the players are from eUnited. See if he can get anybody with this missile. No. So you're going to kind of burn that here. Now you're relying on him picking up a kill so he can get the bombardment.
That gives you, what, 10 to 15 seconds that you were able to delay this? Not a whole lot that eUnited can do. 15 seconds on the clock, 2 players left now just on Gunless. He's not going to be able to clutch. He's tagged in the back, and Epsilon keeps on rolling.
And that kill will be the bombardment from Josh. So he will get that final streak. You use the Trinity, you bait out some of the clock, you end up winning the round, and you get the bombardment for Josh. A pretty good round there for Epsilon.
Oh, we talk about how important streaks are in the respawn game modes and how you can't give them up early. They give them up early to Epsilon to start game 1. They give them up early to start game 2. And now Josh, a lot to work with. Reactive armor in round 6, bombardment, Scarab as well, and he's just soaring. They want to get aggressive here. Pristini already got picked. Pristini gets both those kills. Nice job opening things up as they'll have a man advantage here early.
For a second there, I thought they were going to invest the reactive armor into it, but you know, Josh falls before he could use it. Vortex catches one, not going to finish off a second. So eUnited, they battle back, get their 3rd round.
And that was all Pristini, man. It was, what, 2 3-man hit for both sides on bike path. He comes out with 2 clutch kills with the ERAD. I think he finds a 3rd then. They needed that. You know, you're not getting a lot of that. What was it? Gunless and Silly were the top 2 overall S&D KDs. They haven't picked it up. Pristini looking to do it.
But Josh still has reactive armor, still has the bombardment. Dave getting very close to that active camo. It's a first blood there. Josh taking out Gunless. So Gunless not going to be able to earn any more towards his active camo.
Exactly. He was, you know, one kill away. So Josh is just dismantling people right now. 8-3, a 2 streak. Silly now by his lonesome. He's mid-map. Can he be the hero that eUnited needs in round 7? He's able to catch one, should be shot in the back immediately. 4 rounds for Epsilon.
To kill that Pristini has to get. When he comes through that mid-cut and he's shooting at Josh, needs to finish him off. Silly comes over the top, picks up one, quickly taken out though. And now, you know, it's only 2 more rounds needed to win for Epsilon. Great spot.
Well, think about it. You have the bombardment, you have reactive armor,
you have
camo. You've got a lot to work with and a lot that can close out the game. Gunless, a chance to be a difference maker if he can find a kill and get that camo. turn it in their favor. Dave, though, pushing. Dave winning again. It's Gunless dropping again. Gunless goes down so quickly, he's still not going to have camo. And now Silly again in a clutch spot. They know where he is. Josh is flying over the top, uses the reactive armor, and just says, I'm using it, I'm popping it, we're closing the round. We still have bombardment, we still have camo. Let's just seal the deal and get us 1 round away from victory.
Oh, it would have been a huge clutch if Silly's able to win this gunfight. You don't know what the positioning that he's in. It looks like he was just going to get a little bit vertical on Josh there. May have been able to shoot straight down on him. But Epsilon, 1 round away from going up 2-0 in this series. Would make today very, very interesting.
And remember, they already beat him in Uplink, right? I think that's the one they took in the series.
The Luminosity is somewhere watching, not too happy.
No, not at all. All right, now can Gunless actually find a kill to get this camo? There it is. All right, so he got the camo. You got to think about using it here if needed. You do have the 4v3 advantage. Saw one of the back. Gunless should have another kill around the back momentarily, depending on the timing as they both wrap. He gives away his position. There's still one here. He's kiting right to his right. They still have to work the defuse. I don't know if that's, I was going to say Josh working with the bombardment. He's already used that. Gunless, some shots, and he should be tagged up immediately. Somehow manages to stay alive. Under 30 seconds on the clock now. It's going to be a 2 versus 2. Make it a 2 versus 1. Vortex, now a chance to clutch.
They have no idea where he is.
They don't know where he is, and he has FTL. The bomb hasn't been popped yet. Gunless opens it up. Gunless closes it down and still has the camo. So eUnited absolutely not out of this yet.
Yeah, for a second, it didn't look like they knew if Vortex was going to go through mid-rails or come back towards barn. It looked like, Arceus was looking one way. Gunless turns around inside of barn, able to take Vortex out as he comes in. eUnited not out of this game just yet. These guys just never go away.
No, they don't. They're like mosquitoes.
Well, you can get mosquitoes to go away if you buy like Raid or something like that.
The hell you can. That is a myth.
No, it's definitely a fact. It's definitely, I think that's what it's for.
All right. Gunless, he's been going off, over the past couple of rounds here. 7 and 6. Remember, he has this camo to go. It's going to be on who makes a better play with this down the stretch, Dave or Gunless. No one can make a sloppy play at this point. You do not want to be the one that's picked up first. Look at the minimap. You got a bunch. All right, so they're going to get the Centurion down. Gunless just trying to look for an opening to use this camo. He's gotten into a very aggressive position here.
Almost don't even need to use it. They waste some bombardment.
Wow. You hope
get bombed down.
He's get the bomb plate. And Gunless going huge, man. He continues to make big play after big play down the stretch. Some kills go back and forth. Gunless still in a sneaky spot in the corner. Dave goes massive. Dave has camo to work with as well. Hasn't needed to pop it. Oh, here it goes. That's going to be it. That is it. Epsilon 2-0 up. And eUnited's weakness has been the uplink this entire weekend. Are we seeing a 3-0?
I do not know, man. In that last round, eUnited, they have the man advantage. They have bomb down. They have the Centurion on it. If Gunless in a great spot, I believe it's Hockey who comes in and picks up 2 big kills with Dave right there. You're able to take out Gunless before. I mean, when it gets to a 2v2, then maybe Gunless considers using the camo. Like, if you're man up and you have that much control over the site and you force them to waste a streak, why burn the camo there? I mean, especially if you could have it for round 11, but
the biggest kill for me was Dave coming over the top and killing Gunless there top rooftop. So he doesn't get to use the camo, doesn't get to make a big clutch. They take him out of the round. Dave then has the power. That was a beautiful kill.
Well, it's also getting the kill and then sliding behind Lemon and just waiting there, like not challenging that second guy. And then I believe Hockey pops out and kills him when he goes to try and challenge Dave. So some good situational plays there by Epsilon.
Today's getting sweaty early, man.
Yeah.
If Epsilon does this, it will be wild. But eUnited, you can never, ever count this team out. Do they rally back? We'll find out after this break.
I should be an all-star because I'm the best player in the team right now and no one else deserves it.
I should be an all-star for my team because I'm the highest earning European player and I've proven to everyone that I'm the best.
I should be an all-star because I'm the best player on my team, and not only on my team, in the game.
I should be an all-star because I put a lot of time into the game and I don't get the job done, fill the gaps and do the dirty work.
I think I should be an all-star because if we do get through and you pick me, my big game will be like amazing.
I should definitely be the MVP all-star of this tournament because all weekend long I'll be horking and spitting on people.
It's our G Fuel key player matchup for eUnited versus Epsilon, and taking a look at Search and Destroy. I mean, coming into this, things have changed, Matt.
Yeah, Gunless comes in the best S&D KD, Dave the absolute worst, but he showed up big in that last game, played very well. Going into the uplink, he's got to show up in a big way, though. This Epsilon team has a chance to close out eUnited here 3-0. Be a huge win for their chances to get into playoffs.
That is it for your G Fuel key player matchup. We are back, and the boys of Epsilon looking to do what some may have considered impossible. Not to beat eUnited, but to 3-0 them was definitely not, I guess, what we expected from this series. And you saw the matchup there, man. Gunless versus Dave. Both the camo players for their team. Both with the most pressure on their team to perform. And so far this series, Dave has the upper hand.
Camo, a powerful ability. You're going to need it in uplink to win these games. If Dave can kind of repeat that performance that he had in Game 2, play strong like they did in Game 1 as well, and respawn, I don't even, it feels weird even saying it, Epsilon could 3-0 eUnited, who's been perfect up until this point.
And also worth mentioning, I mean, Dave's been really good at getting camo in these games. He's been playing well, and he has the most uplink scores of any player currently this weekend. So Dave has been phenomenal. I can think of two throwback. One more time. 2 uplinks where Gunless hadn't even earned camo. That's where he's significantly dropped off, and that's where the win percentage for eUnited has dropped off a lot. They've been just dynamite and hard point and search and destroy, but in uplink, they've struggled this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you see camo kind of goes to the player on either team who you think is going to put up the biggest numbers. This, I know, most of the time. I mean, whether it comes in getting points in uplink throws, bomb plants, kills, etc. You're going to need that player to have camo to get that pretty quick.
All right, well, I mean, all the pressure is still on Epsilon, right? That's what's funny about this spot. You think there'd be pressure on eUnited, they're down 2-0, but the pressure still remains on Epsilon to get maps, to get a win. And they have been doing a brilliant job to start this series. Josh just went off in that search and destroy, earned a Trinity, earned a bombardment, made a play with reactive. They need him here in uplink.
He's been great with the NV4 in his hands. We've seen it on numerous maps. See how he's going to play this on throwback off the start. It looks like he's going to go down bike path. Just watch to see if anybody's crossing over. But Vortex in the feed first, Josh with another. So Epsilon has the man advantage. They need to push towards mid-map, try and get some drone control.
I like this from Josh. He immediately is going to go on the flank and try and make a play. We talk about the EU guys doing that quite a bit. He actually gets picked up. It's Silly going big there in top window as he shuts down the push from middle and on the rear from Josh. Just solid stuff, just making sure that Epsilon can't strike quickly, but Josh right off spawn, right back to bike path, and outgunning Arcides.
And we'll have to just keep an eye on it, but usually this map is like Erad, K-Bar, maybe one NV4. At least from the kill feed at the start, it looked like, Hockey, Dave, and Josh all running NV4s in this map.
A lot of NV4s right now is everyone just trying to get control at top mid and start to make a play. It's the blue arrows working their way up the minimap. They may not realize that Silly is in behind. Silly has to rotate back. He needs to make a play. He's not going to be there. It's man advantage right now for Epsilon, at least in the base, but Arcides and Pristini do a good job on defense. Hockey, last one remaining, and he gets taken out. So no one has been able to strike, and the thing that eUnited's probably struggled with the most has been kind of just their lack of offense. They haven't been doing a very good job of control and actually getting points on the board. Now, a good opportunity as they wrap around back silo. Gunless going to try and go over the top, gets it out. I think that's far left. Yep, it's just a little bit off. Not able to put the first through. That's not an easy shot, though, with gunfire coming in.
Yeah, but Arcides is there on the other side of things. He's able to pick up the drone and throw it in for a one-point play. So it is a miss by Gunless. Very difficult shot, but his teammate on the flank is able to pick it up, put it in for a point. So you will have eUnited here scoring first.
All right, so damage done. Finally, a couple minutes into the game, eUnited getting it going. Let's watch Dave right now, mid-map. He's been playing so well this series. He's going to be on a bit of a flank. His teammate did get one underneath. He should find him before he's able to get the limit. No, he can't finish the kill. He might get gunned here now. All right, closes it out. And now it's another 1-point opportunity. Silly able to bury it. So nice job from eUnited getting some points on the board.
It's going to be 3 dead, though, for eUnited, as here comes the push from Epsilon. It's going to be Pristini, though, on the defensive end. Able to get one. Epsilon trying to rotate that drone towards the top side, but you see the arrows from eUnited. They're pinching on these guys. RC's over at the top, picks up one. Pristini with 2 more. Good defense here from eUnited. Let's see if they can turn it into offense.
Yeah, they've been finding a lot of those kills at mid-map. Pristini just had free reign there to do as he wanted, as Epsilon tried to use Courtyard. But they had very little map control. Now you have several down for Epsilon. Everybody coming off a spawn. Gunless trying to get something going with the drone in his hand. We'll hop back to him. They're looking to make a play through Grandma's, trying to dodge nades, bullets. Arcedy's finding a couple assists, wrapping through the back. There's one more player. Arcedy's gets all 3. He's opened it up for the team. There's the 4th, and here's the dunk.
That is such a smart play. So Gunless tries to wrap it in, but they know they have Silly coming right down the middle. Arcedy's calls out after he picks up 2. They go back around. That player gets baited right into the gun of Silly, and they're able to force that one in for a 2-point play. So smart from Gunless and eUnited.
Yeah, this is one of the first times we've seen eUnited have an edge like this early in a game. Now, though, the counter, the dunk for Vortex. Epsilon, just like that, strike like a python and get back into this game. Vortex trying to do damage in the back. He gets that. Everyone coming off a spawn maybe buys his team a little bit of time to regain control, but regardless, loses the fight. But Dave is still here, and Dave almost finds a couple of kills.
Josh trying to get up into this top window. Gunless absolutely abuses him with the E-Rad there.
The strafe, man.
You see, I mean, the strafe plus, you know, how dominant the E-Rad is in close range. It's a very difficult fight to win with the K-Bar. And
especially with a red dot on.
Oh, yeah. Silly getting behind enemy lines. He's able to pick up 2. And I feel like Silly, you know, we talked about it. You know, at Dallas, he was a very good performer for this eUnited team. He showed up big this weekend as well.
And this map, you know, you talk about getting in behind. It can be flank on flank on flank. You get shot in the back quite a bit on throwback. It's who's going to make a better impact. So far, it's been eUnited doing a better job of it. Again, shooting players in the back. Gunless set up in a position to make plays. Now looking to move forward. Doesn't hit a bullet there. Is Hockey able to close it down for the time being. Silly still in top window. Epsilon can't get out of their base right now. This should be more points for eUnited. He's just waiting patiently. Perfect job. There's the opening. Tries to slide across. Just gets caught. Hockey doing it on defense, but there's still a push here and a presence for eUnited. I believe that's the last player that tries to make a play. Sorry, Arcedy's actually still in the back.
Yeah, Arcedy is still on this streak. Make it 5 in a row for Arcedy's. He's done a nice job locking Epsilon in the back of their base. He's finally going to get taken out. But going into the second half, only 5 seconds left here. The score will remain at 4-2 in favor of eUnited.
Yeah, and it was a very good half for eUnited in the sense that you really only had that one counterattack for Epsilon where they got that dunk on the board. I mean, that's the only offense I can really think of. They didn't have a whole lot of momentum pushing towards eUnited's base. eUnited controlled the pace, the tempo of that one throughout.
Still, though, just a 1-possession game.
Yeah.
And this thing could flip on its head in a second. I mean, it just takes 1-4 dead, and that changes everything in favor of Epsilon. So, see at the start, these intro kills so big at the beginning of these games.
And Josh has had a couple of these games where, you know, he hurts them. He goes double negative. He talked about it on day 1. He's struggling right now. 8-16, they need him to get back to form. He was brilliant in the first couple of maps. Can he bounce back? Now let's talk about the camo players. So they're sitting around the same spot. Gunless is going to be a little bit ahead of Dave due to the fact that he got 2 points on the board, as he is getting very close to finding this camo and having advantage over Epsilon in that capacity.
He's trying to make plays in the Epsilon base with the E-Rad. He drops, but you see Silly right there to pick up the pace. Epsilon cannot get close to mid-map right now. And we talked about it, you know, Josh, he can't hurt this team. Like, really, if you're looking at Josh as a player, like, you just want him to go even. Like, if he goes even, he puts you in a great spot to win these games. It's the games like this where he's double negative right now. Really needs to bring things back if Epsilon's going to come back in this match.
Well, let's see if he can do it here. They try to get it over the top and make a play. They haven't been able to yet. Again, Silly shooting people in the back in a sneaky position, but here comes the offense. Dave, just a second from getting that one out of his hands. There was one more player there in Hockey, but he gets shut down as well. Vortex doing what he can to at least make sure there's not a quick counter strike for eUnited, but they're taking it out Courtyard here and starting to build it forward slowly.
Josh picks up one more kill inside bar, and that's probably a 2-point play for Epsilon, but here's going to be a few kills for Epsilon on the top side of the map. They do have drone, but such a dangerous place to have it. This field is so wide open. They throw it forward for yards. They can get gun up. Now you have the drone in Vortex's hands. It looks like they may try and force this one in for 2. Slides around the corner, and it does not get reset. Josh there, not able to pick it up. And now it'll be eUnited able to hold serve on the defensive end. They needed to just get 1 point there.
You had a 1-pointer. You needed to. You're right. I understand you want to go for a dunk. You want to tie this game up. But with it being this low scoring, nice shots from Arcees. With it being this low scoring, you just take the 1-point play. Now you have overdrive for Arcees. He might just try to flood this through. Let's see if he looks to make the play. I think he was thinking about doing it, using the overdrive around the backside. Gets caught though. Nice kill.
Yeah, so with overdrive, you can actually jump out of bounds. Obviously, there's the out of bounds timer where you'll die if you're out of bounds, past the timer. But if you jump over to that baseball field, use the overdrive, you can get around to the other side before the timer runs out.
It counted. I didn't think it actually triggered it and used it.
Oh,
so
wow.
he actually popped it.
Okay.
Interesting. I didn't.
He may have popped it and he was alive for like a split second before he dropped. So
yeah, I was thinking, did he pop it off a spawn? I didn't think he actually got the use off there. Okay, well that's big. So he won't have a chance to make that play over these final couple of minutes. Let's take a look. Gunless almost to camo. Dave getting close as well. They still have a few minutes to work with, but now the strike coming forward. You have a 3v2 here in the base. 1-pointer over the top. Nice shot going in. 3-point advantage. So think if you were Epsilon, you just took a 1-pointer there, you'd still be in a 1-possession game.
Yeah, it's a huge missed opportunity from Epsilon. That previous offensive attempt, they try and go in for 2 to tie the game up. They leave with 0 points. Now you find yourself down 3, so you're going to need a score. Then obviously another 2-point play, potentially 3 1-pointers to make this a comeback. And see Dave with drone in hand. Now he's going to.
Oh no! And reset. Oh, God. So that, it could be 5-4 right now. Instead, you have a miss. You have one where you don't even get it tossed away.
Like the equivalent of throwing a layup over the top of the backboard.
I might have done that a time or two.
That's embarrassing.
I'm very strong, Matt. And all the kills going towards eUnited. You still have 70 seconds to work with. But his Gunless needs 1 kill to get camo. So okay, 2 kills. I lied to you. He's very, very close. He has the potential to do the dagger here. If there's the kill, he now has camo. This could be the dagger if he gets drone in an aggressive spot. He's just going to grab this. He has a lead blocker in front. This should likely be the game.
All they need is 1. You just don't need to do anything crazy here. Gunless going to go off the wall run. Dive and bive, people. That'll be a 2. That'll be a kill. That'll be streaks. Most likely that will be game as well.
It's got to be. I mean, Dave doesn't have his camo. He's getting very close, and here's the streaks to stop that, any kind of push or any kind of backup. They're cut down backside of Grandma's as well. We're going to 5 games.
Gunless still on a streak here with the bombardment. They're going to throw the drone over. Going to try and put more points on the board. Epsilon, they had the chance for a 3-0. It's not going to happen. Ake's going 3rd person. Look kind of cool for a second.
He's a clever fella. 10 seconds now to tick away. And the game where I think that Epsilon likely should have won it, should have closed it out. You think you have those 2 points, that dunk in scrap time, you're actually up 1.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's just when those games are this close and you know it's going to be decided, by last final position.
Down 1. I don't do math.
You can't just miss the 1-point throws in the position you're in. You can't try and force them in for 2 and not result with any points. If you're going to go in for 2, you have to be sure that you're going to get it, especially when you're down like that.
I mean, really, it comes down to those 2 plays. Dave coming up a little bit short on getting camo. If he gets that, you have probably 1 more guaranteed dunk. You have those 2 points, and then you actually take the game by 1 point. But just outplayed a little bit there, and Gunless with the dagger down the stretch. I mean, they got fortunate because Arcees, if he gets that overdrive off and gets to the edge before he gets shot, that's
like points.
Yes, exactly. But as it stands, this is what you expect in an eUnited series, that you know that they're going to fight back at some point. It happens now in the uplink. We're going to be going to Retaliation Hardpoint, I believe, next. And if I remember correctly, that's where they had the crazy game. So,
crazy game towards the end, yep.
Yeah, so one where they can certainly play each other tough. Last night versus Luminosity, that's where Dave went on that 11 streak, and they got the big series win, which made today so interesting.
It's different, though, when you go up against eUnited. I mean, obviously, a championship team, like those closeout games are so difficult. To beat a team like Optic Gaming, the first and second map, I don't want to say they're easy, but they're significantly easier than that closeout game. It's like eUnited's the same way. You can take maps off them, closing them out is very, very tough.
You expect this one to be a hard-fought battle. Oh, God, I mean...
Breakout S&D Game 5. That's a toss-up, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen enough of a small body of work, at least to see, what teams excel in that particular map, just because, it goes into the rotation here before stage 1.
I like your small body of work. It's like we saw it, I think, once in week 1, maybe twice in week 2.
Not much.
We haven't seen either of these teams, any of the teams here this weekend play it. It's a very, very small body of work.
Isn't it non-existent?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, all the stats on that map you can kind of throw out unless we have, a larger body to go by.
That'd be a fun Game 5.
And I mean, Epsilon, you don't know how much they practice it, right? I mean, they come here a little bit early, don't get a ton of practice in. Obviously, teams don't practice S&D that much. It's not played at Birmingham. So they may be, not prepared at all for that Game 5. Puts even more importance on winning this Game 4 retail.
And again, all of the pressure on Epsilon. eUnited, I mean, sure, a victory here helps. You want to go 6-0. You want to take the top of the group. You're still at risk of maybe taking a second spot, but it's Epsilon that's fighting for their chance to get the playoffs.
I think eUnited wants to get the 6-0. They want to make a statement. I know I was on the stage talking to them when they were warming up. Arceus was like, why are teams picking us not to go to playoffs? I guess some of the other teams here, in their interviews or whatnot. I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I mean, they've been so good thus far. And I think there's still a lot of the community that just doesn't give them as much respect as they probably should have.
I remember even for me, I believed in them just because you know how I am.
You have Luminosity getting relegated.
But I had the eUnited top of the group, but I know I put more stock in online play than some people do, but I thought that eUnited was going to perform well at Atlanta. They did. But then even after that, with the Paris performance and stuff that went on,
I wasn't sure either.
Another question mark sort of popped up for me, and then they rebounded Dallas, and they proved to me again that they're a top team. I just think that there's some, they don't have maybe the big names, the household names that some are used to. So there's some doubters, some haters certainly still. But yeah, I'm with you. Yes, I was crazy to say LG might get relegated, but yeah, you're insane to think that eUnited wasn't coming out. They proved all year, man. They are elite.
I mean, they are clear-cut, I think, the second best team in the game right now. I don't know if there's really a strong argument you can make against it anymore. I think maybe you could have, maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, but I think, post Dallas and in here to week 3, I think it is definitely clear where eUnited stands in the Call of Duty competitive hierarchy of teams. Right at the top there with Optic Gaming. But Epsilon, the chance to knock them off here in game number 4. Can't stress it enough how big of a map this is for Epsilon.
Who are your key players here to look out for in hardpoint?
I think you're going to need to see Dave really go off for Epsilon. I actually think Josh may be a big factor as well, just because, Josh has a rough game 3. He needs to just not hurt them. Can't have one of those double negative games, need to stay around even. If he stays around even, I think this one could go down to the wire.
All right, off the break, hitting bridge. It's going to be an NV4 party to start things off. Josh, first kill with the car onto Bristini. They're now going to look to pick up control. Gunless in the back. Everybody getting tagged up. There's a final player here at Curb. They're looking to push this out. Josh is going to get aggressive with it. Gunless, though, of course, being gunless, stays alive for the moment. Tries to find a kill as his teammates come off a spawn. But so far, nice job by Epsilon. They're in aggressive spots, and they've got complete control of bridge right now.
And we've seen so many times throughout the weekend, I feel like, Maeve, that a lot of the time taken here on bridge ends up helping a team so much later in the game, right? I know the other team ends up taking Broken, and all this time that you get on bridge is just kind of buffer for that, right? You can give up some time on Broken, you can give up some time on Grave, because you take a hill where you usually don't see a ton of time being taken on. But as I say that, Epsilon had a big lead. eUnited completely erases it. They get back to virtually even here because eUnited going to rotate down to that lower street first. They will have Pristini there trying to hold it down.
All right, so Dave looks like looking for a secondary gun here, maybe in a cave bar, but as we rotate out, it's a few kills on rotation, 3 actually for eUnited, so they'll be set up at lower street. You can see on the minimap, it's now going to be those blue arrows starting to collapse and try to fight back for street control.
Dave currently on a 3 streak. He's going to fall in the hallway. Too silly. We saw Dave go on an insane streak yesterday on this map. I believe it ended at 10 or 11. Not the case right now. So you see all the kills in the feed going to go in favor of eUnited. They have complete control of the lower street. See Epsilon spawning so far away, not even getting close towards the hard point.
Well, Epsilon desperately trying not to get 60-0'd here on Lower Street. They're trying to fight back. I want to go over. Let's listen to the team chatter right now for Epsilon.
Good luck. Big kill.
It's on streaks, I think.
Yeah, it's got me.
Come on, set this up now.
He's back right a hill.
Yeah, back right, Charles.
I got curve.
I hit me 4 bullets in hill.
Naded that, naded.
I hit me 4 bullets.
One's close left.
I'm watching the curve flank.
I got killed on the cross.
There's 2 outside of it.
Market, do you want to jump it?
Spawn lobby.
2 now, 1 to the weak, 1 to the weak.
Weak at the back, and 1 hill.
One's back here. I spawn lobby.
Spawned out a bit.
Market dead.
That's because I'm coming.
Far back a hill, He's gone last 3.
Oh, one lobby.
One shot.
Lobby. Yeah, he's got streaks. He's 100% got streaks. Well, we need to step this up now. Come on, let's fucking go. Talk.
I'm in lobby, I'm just holding lobby.
One push up front, dead. Nice.
I got naded.
One more curve.
I'm getting shot from hell, I'm nading it.
In hill still jumping
Shot
up
my
and
guy
down.
curve for me.
Curve, one bullet dead.
Back at the back, I'm staying up at the back. Challenge him.
Scarb. Let's go. I'm trying to.
How dead?
Listen, I have streaks. Stay. I have streaks, so we need to match we go hard.
Play ball with me.
P1. One shot. Raped him.
Nice, go curve, Dave, I'll go ball.
He's curve.
I'm one shot.
Go and charge him, point him. Where is he?
Oh, he's on your left,
Talk, man.
On your left.
In bar, went back to little pitch.
What are you used to?
Hill's so weak, dead. No, he's still alive in Hill, and once we go on
Yeah, I'm gonna die. This guy close,
He's
probably.
pushed up P1.
He's burnt bar.
Nice big kill.
I'll see this was close.
I'll be in curve. I'm going in curve.
Hell up at weak.
One's going to be a bar.
Can't see him in bar. I'm on it.
We can your left corner, Steve.
Tank, jumping him down.
Still on the left.
Tank.
I got flank cover and one shot tank.
Let's kill us. Nice big kill, nice.
Listen, hill.
One's orange boss and 1 hill. Orange boss pushing up.
He's pushing up, yeah.
Weak.
Nice.
Left your bar.
For a team that started so hot in those first couple of games, the comms seem a bit off. I mean, you never want someone to be yelling, where is he, over and over again.
Yeah, when somebody has to call out talk, that's usually not a good sign. It means people are just kind of shutting down, not necessarily giving up, but you can see kind of the score has gotten completely out of hand in favor of eUnited. They're about to be up 100 points. And I think we saw at one point, they're trying to go in towards broken Epsilon, and the one player just walks in, and he doesn't know there's a player in his corner. The callouts come so late, he gets shot in the back. So not too impressive of team chat there from Epsilon. It's going to be a huge mountain to climb if they're going to come back in this game.
And during that, Gunless gets a Trinity Rocket. Those could be huge if Epsilon starts to mount a comeback. But right now, it's been all Gunless and company. He's 13-5. Just destroying. He's got a freebie in front, keeps on cruising, not able to snap onto Dave there. We got 30 seconds left. Epsilon finally able to get control. If they can hold a bit here. I mean, they're not out of the game by any stretch, but eUnited has looked damn good.
I mean, somebody needs to do something other than Dave. I mean, he's 19-10 right now. Vortex has 5 kills. Hockey has 8. I mean, Josh has 7. You still have Dave on a streak here, on just trying to stay alive. It's quickly going to be sought out, though, by Silly.
All right, well, you heard Epsilon, a bit shaky. Comms seemed a little bit off. eUnited, though, they've been cruising. Let's see what it sounds like.
All right, let's get hill and bus. Hill and bus. All right, pushing up. Try to get wall.
Trying.
Josh
is in hill.
I need a wall for you.
I'm using a car. He has trophies.
Not me. They're outer one shot. They're outer one shot. Pinching hall.
On hill, weak. They're all there.
Nothing hall.
They're all there.
Nothing hall. I'll kill him on hill. If you
Outer dead.
Whoa, good job.
I got
Yo, one more. Inner.
Inner dead. Inner one shot.
I'm pitching inner. You guys
You're good.
You guys will spawn up. You guys will spawn up close.
We still have a Trinity.
He's outer.
One inner. Stand on.
I have your inner. Don't look at anything else.
Josh, one shot.
Yo, he's at wall, Dave. Dave, one shot wall. Another one, challenging, close right. Close right. West gets hill on you.
Oh, I thought he pushed me. Fuck, he's hurt. I got 2 shots in him.
What shot, man?
Try to get patio. We're fine.
Yep, 6 seconds, let's go.
At Nude, scaffolding, super weak.
On Nude.
Yo, he's bedroom.
Okay, we're snaking. One's patio.
We have camo.
On me, dude. Patio.
Yo, he's main, dead.
Got one.
Kill weak. Josh. He has
one shot, Hall.
During that, we see Epsilon start to fight back. You've got Hockey here. He has 4 in a row, looking to maybe build some streaks, because I believe you still have the Trinity Rocket on Gunless. Not able to find it for Epsilon, and the struggles continue. I mean, Dave's been a one-man army. And on the other side, a much more of a team effort. I mean, Gunless right now has 2 minutes in the hard point. He's 21-9. Like, what more can the guy do?
He's so good. Oh, it's just silly.
Well, that's one of those gunfights you usually expect him to win, right? Any of those where you're using cover, bouncing back and forth, he usually takes it. That's a testament to how hot Dave has been on the other side, as he's 25-14. Now, Epsilon gets the break. Look at the final 10 seconds.
And Epsilon, they've put themselves in a position that this game is kind of manageable, where they could potentially make a comeback. They're going to take the last few seconds in lower street. Hockey picks up a big kill at the top of your mini-map. He's going to go right in towards this hard point. Epsilon needs to be fast. They need to get over and help him out. He's quickly going to fall.
Oh.
You almost need to use the camo here to break.
Yeah, look where they're spawning. They've got a mile to run to get into the action here. Pristini just going to try and tag somebody up if he can. Dave does find the first pick for Epsilon. That gets picked off with the grenade as well, so it doesn't give a whole lot of information to RC's on the push. Vortex gets another kill. Do you consider investing camo here, or can you save it for another day? They get cut down. Silly goes big. 2 kills for him. 30 more seconds here. I mean, you have to think about camo at this point, because you get these 30 points. It's 240. You have a Trinity rocket with gunless still. This game's done.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation. I mean, there's no great spot for them to use camo. Like, to push out these last 30 seconds and use camo and not get it, I mean, that is game over. I mean, maybe you rotate here. You know, eUnited, they'll be at about 238, 239. I mean, still a very good position to close out, almost up by 100. But we have seen crazy comebacks happen in the hotel hallway, though. I mean, if they use the streak here, they don't get control. eUnited, Epsilon takes a ton of time. Then you get to the hotel hallway, you have that camo. Now we're talking a completely different game.
The problem is Gunless has that Trinity rocket and the camo. So you got to think, if they're used properly, he's got 2 cracks at breaking bridge if we actually get there, and we would if Epsilon goes huge in hotel hallway. But before that, they need to hold perfectly here. So far, so good. Hockey and Josh holding the perimeters as players trying to cut up the map. It looks like everyone going to be hitting bridge now. You see all those red arrows. They're all going to be hitting up that top side of the minimap. A lot of pressure coming Dave's way and a lot of pressure coming quickly.
The fact this game is still winnable for Epsilon just kind of blows my mind a little bit. I mean, Vortex with 12, Josh with 13. Dave has just been a one-man army. Picks up one more. Another slides in. Not able to take out Pristini. They need to get back to the hill, Epsilon, to try and contest. They have one chance maybe at this.
They got a close spawn, so they should be able to at least try to break in. A couple kills going their way. It's 2:45 right now for eUnited, but Epsilon able to do just enough. Now it's on hotel hallway. Who's going to go huge for their side? It's Silly finding 2 entry kills as we get started here. Silly almost gets a third, but at least tags him up for the assist. Gunless decides it's time for the camo. He does work with his teammate to get it. Just need a few more seconds. There it is. eUnited roars back, pushes it to a game 5. They never go away.
Nope.
They never go away. It's like Rich at the office.
Oh, man.
Rich, we love you, buddy, if you're watching.
Yeah, Rich. But Rich is probably at home like, oh, man. Why they have to single me out like that? But you just see Epsilon. They just look kind of dejected right now. I mean, Dave, I mean, he's got to be looking around like, guys, like, I mean, if you guys get close to 20 kills, I believe we're talking about Josh and Vortex. I mean, this is a game. I mean, that they could easily have taken.
But again, you know, the story coming into this series wasn't about Epsilon 3-0. It was about Epsilon maybe getting a win or at least getting maps. So you've already got those 2 maps, so it relieves a little bit of pressure. But God, man, if they win this series, yeah, obviously, yes. But getting maps is so important as well against a team like eUnited. But now, I mean, I would love to see what the player rounds looks like right now. Luminosity all have to be like.
I'm telling you, with the way Epsilon can tilt and just kind of lose all confidence, like to go up 2-0 and get reverse swept would be bad, because then you go into that match against Millennium. Probably means a lot more than it does kind of currently at this moment in time. And Millennium's going to come out fired up because they just don't want to let another European team beat them, get into playoffs potentially. So that could get dangerous for Epsilon.
All right, for this series, you just have to think about if your Epsilon is reset. We have one map to decide this, and that one map is coming after this quick break. eUnited now on the verge of reverse sweeping their two toughest opponents this weekend. They did it to Luminosity to end day one. They have a chance to do it now against Epsilon. This team, man, I think Deserto just put out an article kind of talking about why they're so clutch. I mean, there's a ton of reasons, but man.
They're just cool under pressure. Like, they just don't care. Like, as ridiculous as that sounds. Like, I mean, you kind of talk to these guys, whether it's, game 5, game 1, it's the same kind of demeanor, same kind of mindset. It's just crazy to watch from a team that doesn't have a ton of experience.
And it's rare to have a group of guys like that, right? Like maybe a player like that, but a whole group that doesn't feel it. But it is game 5 coming up. If you're just joining us, you can see how we got there. A brilliant game 1 from Epsilon. They take the search and destroy, but then eUnited, as always, pushes this to a long series. And now it is time for game 5. They got it done in the uplink. They took care of business in the hard point.
Man, these series have been so close.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why anyone would waste their time watching Cavs Raptors today when you can watch this. The Cavs are just going to sweep the Raptors. That'll be over.
Could have told you the Raptors were in the playoffs, Matt.
Yeah, no, they're always there. They always make it to the second round. They just never win.
All right. Starting off with Arcides, he made his presence known early with the sniper rifle on throwback. He wants to do it here on breakout as well. Last week we saw Nagafin do it. Yikes, Josh almost gets a haircut.
We have not seen this snipe spot yet. I believe we saw Nagafin do some nice snipes from the opposite side of things on offense, but Arcee's getting very creative. And this is why I was worried about Epsilon on this map. Obviously very early, like the first few seconds, but you just see some of the spots that eUnited has. You imagine they have a lot of tricks up their sleeve for this map.
And you can see how scary it is when you have a sniper on the map like this. You can see everyone basically hiding right now from Epsilon. They do have the first player to drop, but the bomb does get planted. Can they get away? He did such a good job picking off that bomb planter before. Silly tries to wrap through steps. They're watching it, though. All of a sudden, it goes in their favor. Epsilon explodes in that first round. And those are those big ones, man, where you get first blood, but you still come back and win.
You cannot lose those rounds if you're eUnited. 2 kills by Josh through the side stairs. Puts away eUnited in round 1. The round where they get first blood. Epsilon bounces back, takes the round.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the play call was there. I mean, I know we haven't seen a lot of this map, but you know how crucial a spot stairwell is there when you try to push up and flank through, depending on what side the bomb is planted on. But with it planted for the backside, you gotta, if you're silly, you have to think there's some set up in back grave. He doesn't have a chance there. He just comes running out.
Now Gunless on offense with bomb in hand. The A site completely open. He'll get that down. He'll get the points towards Camo. Josh with 3 kills in round 1. A very good start for Epsilon. It looks like Epsilon going to try and pinch on this. They're going to send players through mid-map. Josh with yet another kill. Finally taken out, though. Pristini with 2 big kills there for eUnited.
Pristini puts it in their favor. It's Dave able to answer back for just a moment now. All on Hockey. Is he able to clutch up? First gun fight. Nope. They're at both doorways. They pinch him. He drops. eUnited able to answer back. Yeah, they get a quick free plant and they do the job. But I mean, it was really on Pristini at the beginning of the round. I mean, he gets the trade on Josh. He finds another kill there and loading. Gives him advantage throughout.
Yeah, Hockey in that position can actually see bomb. And with the NV4 to just slide in when you know 2 players are going to come at you, very difficult position. Maybe he just stays on that outskirts, looks just straight across. At least you can see 1 doorway. Right? I mean, the player slides close, you kind of back up to that corner, maybe bait him out, but ends up just running into the bomb site, falling. We'll see what Epsilon does here on offense. Arcity's going to put the sniper rifle away. Just going to play this close corner.
And we've seen this either work out brilliantly or a player get caught. But let's see how it works for Arcees. You see on the minimap there are 2 players right over the edge. I think he's trying to, there we go. Now we see the third person, one right behind him. Look at this. That didn't need, it was basically, it's actually his trophy. It's able to pick it up as it comes over the top. So do they realize he's here is the question.
I still don't think they have an idea. Oh, well, never mind.
Yep, they do.
As soon as we leave third person, we're not able to see that Dave knows exactly where he was. He just jumps over the corner. Spots RC's. Josh with 1.
Oh my, Dave. He checks for a final one he thought might be at steps, but it is going to be Gunless, the clutch master. That's his first kill. 1 versus 3 now, 30 seconds. He's on defense. Now bomb gets planted. He's got 45 seconds to work.
And this is huge for Epsilon. I mean, Dave, look how close he is to that Camo. Yep. Starting off 4 and 1. He has 2 bomb plants already on a 2 streak. Still very early in search and destroy, but Dave making his impact felt. Gunless knows exactly where he is behind the B bomb site. Just look at the backup, though, from Epsilon. I mean, this is a round that would be an Epsilon collapse if Gunless is able to win.
Well, he's not. Yeah, he's going to take a dive. So as I say, you know, best case scenario, you find a kill or two there and you work towards camo. Worst case, you feed a kill to Dave. On the other side, he wisely goes off the map.
The two players with active camo. Gunless for eUnited, Dave for Epsilon. Dave so close, getting off to a fantastic start. Now, we talked about it. Now, coming into this one, had the lowest SND KD of everybody here this weekend. So far, through both searches, he's played quite well.
Yeah, he picked a hell of a day to start picking it up in search, man. This has been awesome to watch. Let's keep watching him. Dave, on X-ray, you see there's one here. Can he trade the kill? He does do it. There's a second. He tries to get away with his life, not able to do it. Maybe you go high up over the wall run there and stick to that side, thinking you're going to get shot in the back, but he tries to get back to Josh, not able to do so. So Josh and Hockey going to now be in a 2 versus 3. Josh will be the first one to attack here. He's waiting for his teammate to get to him. Oh, God, he tags him up so much. Can they trade the kill? Oh, I thought he'd be able to tag him up. He got to this close corner. He couldn't spot him. He had 2 lined up then. Now it's all down to his teammate. No kills come through for him. Good job by eUnited holding there inside of Showers.
That is a kill that Josh needs to get. Gunless somehow able to stay alive through all this fire.
Of course he does.
Picks up the final kill there on Hockey. I believe Hockey and Vortex still shut out from this match. I believe no kills for either of them. Epsilon going to need one of those players to step up big, make some big plays here in the next coming rounds.
And, you know, we talked about it, but Gunless is caught up a bit now with camo because he's had a couple of plants. Davey, though, just 1 kill away, really, from making impact. He's been working with the MV4. This time has the K-bar in hand. Josh does find the first kill. Vortex doing what he can to stay alive. Good movement there to get away. He's getting chased. There's one behind him. Can he get to the edge of the box? Still running. He does play his life. Gets baits one right into Josh. Good cover there from Josh in the window.
The bomb will go down. And there you see it. Active camo available for Epsilon. You have the man advantage. You have bomb down. No reason to invest it into this round. See Hockey gonna, he's gonna use it right away.
I don't, why? Why? You have man advantage.
So weak too. Like you don't even need camo to kill that guy.
Maybe.
Of hell.
Well, you know, the one thing I can think is maybe he just want to guarantee a round, and now he thinks he can get it a second time. Use it early. What are we? Was our 5th round?
Guarantee a round, man.
I agree, but we can see everything. Maybe he thought there were 2 players there.
You could have came down the stairs and killed that guy.
Maybe.
So weak.
Maybe. My hands don't work as well as they used to. But I got to think maybe he thought there was another player there. The only reason I don't mind an early camo use is because if you start out hot, you can get it a second time. So even if this goes down to around 10 or 11, there's a good chance Dave can earn it again.
Even if there's a second guy there and he dies, it's a 3v2 and they have post-plant positioning.
Yeah, I mean, not a smart use, but if he gets it a second time, does it really matter that much?
You're going to bank on him getting it a second time?
Dave's getting a second camo, buddy.
All right.
We're going to round 11.
If he gets a second camo, we're not going to see a round 11.
Yes, we are.
It means he would have been playing so well. It was definitely going to end before that.
We're seeing it. Round 11, 2 Dave camos. I just have a feeling. And they're usually wrong. Vortex still 0-4. It has been the Josh and Dave show. On the other side, a more balanced effort from eUnited as they trail around. Gunless now going to work the plant. We'll take a look at the mini-map. Is Epsilon all stacked on the opposite bomb site. So they're going to have to now rotate back. Let's see if they can make a play. Arcees gets cut down. What a big kill, and it's Dave! It is Dave!
And maybe he doesn't really need camo.
They call him 2-time camo Dave. Dave with another one. Almost halfway there already. He sees the third. I want to dance. He's getting shot from both players. He doesn't care. Finally, we'll get dropped by Pristini. It's now in Hockey. Somehow it turns into a 1v1. Gunless up against Hockey. Gunless so short on camo. Wouldn't this be a good time to have it? But with 15 seconds left, you still have to work on this defuse. He thought maybe wrap around the backside. With the timing here, does he look back towards mid? 8 seconds left. Not going to be able to do it. This will be a round. Bye-bye. 3-3. I mean, he knew he was mid-map. You just have to chase it for the kill. I know he was tagged up. Maybe he thought he was going to, well, obviously he thought he was going to wrap back through cell block.
I wonder when Dave is getting shot at mid-map if he had camo, if he would have lived there.
He killed 2, though. I mean,
no?
He killed
Kill more. You're screaming at him to go off.
Oh, yeah, he probably won't get a second camo, but in my heart, he does. Okay, here we go. Round 7. Dave gets eyes on 1. He's going to catch a nade in a moment. Tags him up just a bit. Enough to back him down. Another thing to point, this map, The sniper from Marcy's hasn't made an impact like we saw it do in that first throwback. It is going to be a first blood down for Gunless, and he has camo. That would have been a beautiful kill for Dave. Needed one more bullet.
So now eUnited with man advantage. They have camo on the defensive side of things. This is a very good round for eUnited. Make it a 4v2 in favor of eUnited. See Gunless here, just watching the top mid. Just kind of hanging out. So you see now we'll jump over to Arcides over by the B bomb site. It's going to spot one, so they're going to have an idea of where one player is here. For Epsilon, Pristini's just going to charge him. Now Pristini has reactive as well.
Yep.
And now eUnited 2 rounds away. You have camo, you have reactive armor.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be wishing you had that camo down the stretch through Dave, unless you really go off here. But God, man, eUnited just keeps sticking around, but Epsilon looks like they might have control of this game 5. eUnited playing tough. I love that though. It's like Pristini, Arcides spotting over the top. He's like, go get him, bro. Pristini flies at him there in Cemetery. Okay, so now it's going to be offense. It's been a lot of quick and easy plants for the most part here on Breakout.
Vortex is killing them right now.
You had a 4-man stack last time on defense at the B site. This time they send just 2 players, and the offense is going to come this way. It'll be interesting to see if they can hold. And yes, Vortex is a broken limb for this team right now.
Yep, it's definitely hurting them. So Gunless trying to get in here towards B.
Nice
get
kill.
shot in the back. So that's quickly traded out though. It's right at 3v3. But Epsilon knows where the bomb is. They can just play exclusively for this B site.
Nice choice. As soon as Pristini saw him back down, he's like, we got to get this bomb planted. Goes ahead and gets it. Now, can he get away with his life? Yes, he will. So they're set up nicely. Epsilon all over the map right now. They need to group up together and see how they want to hit this. Pristini's got eyes on one. He's going to get an easy kill there on Augie. He pops reactive, though. That's one nice thing you have for him. It should run out as soon as he gets back, but he's in a good position here with cover at the bomb site that he could make a play. Both come running. The timing, I thought, was going to prove poor, but they get the round win anyway, and Gunless still has camo.
And you just think some of these rounds, what if Dave had camo?
Yeah.
Be able to push onto the site. Maybe the last round you're able to win.
I just want to know.
V2.
I want to ask him what was going on.
What was the call out there to pop it for no?
He had to think there were multiple players there. I don't know why else that happened.
You have it's a 4v2. I have a 4v3. Yeah. I mean, even if you trade that out.
I'm trying real hard to make it make sense.
Yeah, just doesn't. Here in Game 5, playing phenomenal. 11-4. You can get a look at the minimap. See how things are playing out. So it looks like Epsilon going to go over to A here fast. Josh going to get tagged up. So eUnited going to know the bomb is going down here. I think we got to get on with Gunless, see if he's going to make a play with this camo.
He's got the camo. He's going to play behind this. And there is the first kill. Now the second likely to come with camo. He hasn't found it yet. There it is. Does he get a third in behind? It hasn't been traded yet. There's only 2 players left now for Epsilon. 1 player left now for Epsilon. It's all on Hockey, and Gunless is on the bomb. He has to try and get back. He's not going to get there in time. And eUnited with yet another reverse sweep. It's like, I don't care if this was a best of 11 and, you know, they're whatever maps they're down to 0, you feel like they're going to fight back. It's unreal.
They always figure out a way to win these games, man. You think they're down, you think they're out. They just storm on back. But Epsilon, man, that Game 5, and I really want to know what the idea with that camo was. I mean, it's so strong, you can't afford to burn it like that in that type of situation.
But for Epsilon, again, I know that is heartbreak, I'm sure, for their fans, but you got 2 maps, which was just still a very, very big deal with how things came into this weekend. So they still hold the map count edge on Luminosity if Luminosity were to fall to eUnited later. I mean, there's a lot of different ways this can go, but you just have to regroup, think, hey, we got the 2 maps, but I know it's going to haunt them. I mean, that could have, maybe should have been a 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of games to be played today. Obviously, Millennium could be a spoiler for Luminosity or Epsilon, if Millennium's able to take a series, but that is a good first series for Epsilon. They win some maps, but still, that should have been a win. You go up 2-0, you need to put that series away.
Well, a big part of this, the reason this team just never dies, always stick around, is the man Silly, and we've got him on stage with Jack.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Fantastic casting, but the person that did even better is on here on stage with me. It's Silly, leader of eUnited, and another series victory now, 5-0. This team can never be counted out. Let's first talk about why did you guys even go down 2-0? What was not working out for you guys in those first couple games?
I think they're more warmed up than us on the breakout. It's also our worst map. We've been 100-point club 3 times. It's been on the map every single time. We can't seem to win that. And then the throwback, we just made a couple mistakes. And as long as we win our uplink, we end up reverse sweeping everybody we play. So.
Well, it showed right there with that uplink win in Game 3. Now, you guys are 5-0, sitting pretty atop this group. From everything you've seen so far this weekend, you as one of the leaders of this team, what does eUnited need to improve upon before these Stage 1 playoffs?
We just need to practice our breakout more and practice our throwback uplink. Just put a lot of time into those maps. We should be fine going into playoffs.
Absolutely. Well, 5-0 in this group. Still one more match to play later on today, but our next match coming on up will be Millennium going up against Luminosity. Do you have any predictions for that series? Where do you see that one going?
LG 3-0.
Wow. Okay. All right. So LG 3-0, simple as that from Silly. They get the job done yet again. They've yet to be defeated so far this weekend. That's going to do it for us, though, on the main stage. Puckett and the analysts, take it away.
Thank you so much, Courage. Congratulations to eUnited. They remained perfect on the weekend, but they had to do it with 2 reverse sweeps. So, fellas, let's talk about how this all broke down, starting with the first hard point. Dave came out firing. Josh was also lighting up the scoreboard. Hockey and Vortex were involved. The whole Epsilon squad came out much hotter to open up this day.
We talk about how momentum is very important early on in the day. I think we saw it perfectly on that one. Silly explained it. They weren't really warmed up. It's not their best map, but overall, you have to give props to Epsilon. Josh was screaming at the top of his lungs almost every single kill he was getting his team hyped up. Unfortunately, that hype did not keep out throughout the series.
Now, we keep pointing out that Dave is the guy to watch when it comes to hardpoint, but TP and I were talking, Merc, about Vortex and how important he was as the lone ERAD player on Breakout. Why is that such a difficult role, and why was he so successful in that first game?
I mean, you heard sort of the North American teams talk about it, or Luminosity when they first played. It's just unheard of, and the reason is because, of course, you can put pressure all over the map when you're inside those hills, and he was making big plays, but the problem becomes is if you get out-rotated, if you're the submachine gun player trying to rotate to those hills, you're running into K-bars and NV4, so you put a lot of pressure on yourself to make sure you rotate early and get into those hard points. And that's what he was doing. When they were rotating, you know, the cell block, the cave, the commissary, he was the first one in those hills.
And Felony, as we saw, Josh, the key player in game number 1. We talk about Dave, we talk about the highlights from hockey. It was the captain, Josh, showing up big in the respawns, and that seemed to be the difference maker for them in day 2. Coming into the search and destroy, though, this was a fresh game mode. Did you think eUnited was going to bounce back and take this one?
No, for the simple fact, eUnited's already played this map, and Epsilon's probably watched it, and they did the exact same thing. Arstides gets on that bus on offense, snipes across, his teammates hit A. So I'm assuming Epsilon watched that match, went over some film, went over some strategies to counter it, and they ended up taking the map.
They're looking pretty darn good. Dave with the K-Bar and NV4 throughout this one, kind of setting the tone early. Here was one of the early clutches. And then Arstides pulling out the sniper, not as effective as we've seen him in the past.
Arstides also got 3 first bloods for eUnited the first 3 rounds of the S&D, but yeah, very good job from him. Just need to close out the rounds.
Yeah, and I mean, I think eUnited's going to go back and watch this and just, you know, Epsilon, they put themselves, or eUnited, they put themselves in advantageous positions. They were getting the bomb plants down, but Epsilon just did a great job of retaking that in those 3v3s, those 3v2 situations. I think eUnited probably goes watches that back and just tries to fix those mistakes.
I think one thing I want to touch on as well, rounds 7 and 8 from eUnited were a bit uncharacteristic for me. They're one of the best teams in the game in Search and Destroy, in specific of not just throwing their lives away early in S&D rounds. We saw Gunless do it multiple times on that map, and I think it just goes back to not being warmed up or confident in their shots. Usually when you see eUnited play throwback S&D, they're flying around, team pushing, just making these sort of crazy calls. They weren't doing it there, giving up a lot of map control. Epsilon played it well.
Epsilon playing great. Josh was playing incredible, topping the leaderboards in both game 1 and 2 for his squad. Felony, before we get to game 3, any final thoughts on the search?
Yeah, it was very important that both Dave and Josh went off early in both search and destroys. They're able to get those kinetic and active camo payloads early into the game. And along with Josh getting full streaks, it's really impactful because in the back of eUnited's head, they have to remember that, hey, they have camo early in the game. They have full streaks, you know? So it's very important.
And Gunless did close out the game with the camo in his back pocket. He got killed before he was able to activate that. We could have seen eUnited bouncing back and stealing game 2. Instead, though, you have Luminosity, who's sitting up top in the Pro Lounge. I was hanging out with him, and Nikki D is so nervous. Classic was just hoping to see the comeback, which eventually came in game number 3. Let's talk about the uplink on Throwback, fellas. How did it play out in your eyes? Why did Epsilon seem to lose some speed here?
I think overall they're just a good uplink team in general. I think they had a lot of map control early. Gunless with that SMG, I think Epsilon made a pretty big mistake of not running that SMG. Vortex did such a good job of it on the breakout. Why not run it on Throwback as well? You know Gunless is going to run it. But overall, eUnited was able to get those 2 scores early. Epsilon does answer back with a quick score, but one thing we need to focus on as we get into the second half is some of the mistakes that Epsilon made.
Yeah, and I just from that first half, I mean, this is definitely one of them. Dave obviously misses that one. There was a number of times where they did take that drone barn. If they make it, you know, that's a 4-4 game, and it's no longer comes down to this dunk by Gunless, but really just that first half, full control for eUnited, just slaying all over the map, and that was really the big difference maker. A slow start from Josh and Hockey, and that just allows Arcides and Silly to control the map.
And Silly had a fantastic day, too. In fact, I believe Mr. X was saying he was kind of the X factor for this squad. Drops 31 in game number 3. They're awake now, and now Epsilon has to come and challenge once again in another hard point, one of the greatest strengths of eUnited. Let's talk a bit about this game number 4. How did it play out? Did you think this was the chance for Epsilon to seal the deal on the series, Merc?
I did not. As soon as I saw Retaliation, Hardpoint, this is one of eUnited's best maps. Every time you think of an eUnited sort of run, you always talk about Retaliation. And really just the story was really early on. They rotated so much earlier. You look at Grave, you know, that's really the big difference maker in this game. You know, 81-24, you know, lower street. Just from the start, that seems to be one of Epsilon's biggest problems. If they go back and watch the hardpoints, they're not rotating. I specifically remember a Scorch hardpoint yesterday. We're like, what are these guys doing? Constantly hitting scrap time.
Yeah, Dave starts off really hot that game. He starts off 6-1. Gunless starts off 5-2. The big thing that Epsilon needs to take from that is Epsilon needs to make sure that after they're getting this first hill hard point time, they need to make sure that they're rotating over to the second hill and then flipping out spawns early on that hill to make sure they get Grave. Because eUnited held almost 2 full Grave hills, and that really hurt them.
Go ahead. Yeah, one more thing I want to bring up is Dave was having a hell of a game, but we were questioning his camo, you know, not usage, I guess. There's many moments where, you know, if eUnited got the rest of the hard point time, they're actually going to win. So there's, what, 3-4 situations where, like, Dave, when are you going to pop it? When are you going to pop it? It ended up not really mattering that much, I guess. But if he's able to make a big play with it, get a 2-piece to break, whether it's Cathedral, Grave, anything really, it could have made the difference.
And we were talking about it here at the desk, also up in the Pro Lounge, that the difference maker in these 2 series was not the individual slaying that you saw between Gunless and Dave, because Dave had a fantastic series to the respawns, was contributing in the S&Ds. But that payload use, that specialist ability that he was clearly outclassed by Gunless in most of the respawns, clearly didn't make fantastic use of it either in game 5. Mr. X was touching on his frustration. You have Dave at 5-1, you have a teammate challenging a player, and Dave pops the camo. There's no one else there, and that camo is no longer available later in the game, and eUnited's able to walk away with the search and destroy. Let's take a look at some of the highlights here, guys, and just general thoughts here. How was eUnited able to close out the reverse sweep, Felony?
So for both eUnited and Epsilon, all 3 of their round wins going into 3-3 were all offenses. eUnited went A 3 straight rounds, Epsilon went B 3 straight rounds. This camo play right here, it just wasn't a very disciplined play. The offense before, they won a 3v4 at the B-bomb site. That camo right there is a little unnecessary. They're not really going to be able to break through the spiral steps, so kind of a waste in my opinion.
I mean, you just have a 4v3 with the bomb planted. There's only 25 seconds left on that bomb. There's no reason to, but really the difference maker for me for eUnited was every single time there was sort of a 3v3 or a 4v4 situation. You look at Pristini, look at that kill feed. He was always picking up, you know, a big, you know, 2-3 kills in the middle of the map, and that really changed the rounds and gave them sort of the momentum to close out this game.
Epsilon did not look comfortable over towards that shower side. You could see when, especially Hockey in certain situations, didn't really know which doors to peek at a certain time. The timings obviously haven't been practiced enough, and United take complete advantage of it. If Epsilon has that extra sort of strategy in their back pocket, they only went to that left side on offense most of the time. If they use a better shower strategy, I think they could have got this game a little bit further on to round 11.
And I hate to call them out on it, but I have to do it. It's part of our job. Epsilon did not practice this game mode coming into the tournament. This is a huge mistake. If you are a professional team, this is your career, you have to be ready for every single game mode that is going to come up. They were clearly not prepared. They got some early success working as a team, but eUnited runs away with it, winning 4 straight rounds to close it out, Felony.
Another big thing to note about Epsilon this game is Dave and Josh were both stepping up in Game 5 along with Game 2, which was really important because they were the kinetic and camo players once again. But later into the game, after Dave kind of wasted his camo, it probably would have been a little bit smarter for Josh to grab the bomb so he could work towards his kinetic, and they would still give him the bomb to Dave. And just didn't really agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and watch that game, I mean, Epsilon, they just played retake the entire time, right? Like, they were giving up that A bomb site, allowing Gunless to just get free bomb plants and showers. It was just an easy offensive rounds for eUnited. Didn't seem like Epsilon knew how to counter it at all.
Got to close it out. In a game 4, it seems, if you're going to be playing up against eUnited. You can't let it go to that decider Game 5. They've done it twice. They beat Luminosity day 1 on a Game 5 reverse sweep. Now they've done it here on day 3. eUnited sits on top of the leaderboard with a perfect 5-0 series record. But really, here on day 3, it's all about now who is going to finish in second place. Luminosity, so thankful that eUnited clutched up, and Millennium as well was saying, we have like a 0.5% chance of getting into the playoffs, but if there was any way to do it, we needed eUnited to win. eUnited doing both teams a favor.
And the biggest thing we have to note on, yes, Epsilon kind of choked that series, get swept on, but those 2 maps could be so vital going into later today. You don't know how that eUnited versus LG rematch is going to go, so a 3-2, it's really not that bad of a situation.
And for me personally, if I'm Epsilon, I'm sort of happy that Luminosity is playing Millennium first, because if they do beat them 3-1 or 3-2, maybe even a 3-0, you know that Millennium's pretty much done. You have to play them second, and they know they have to win as many maps as possible. Look at that map count now. In Luminosity, they're going to play Millennium next, and at the end of the night, they have to play eUnited.
Yeah, here's a look at the whole shebang, guys. All 4 teams here. eUnited has 1 more match. Luminosity will be playing Millennium later today, and the rematch against eUnited. So they have a chance to go 4-2. Epsilon, they only have 1 more match. So they're going to be sitting, watching this Luminosity Millennium match, hoping that Millennium can steal some games, just like they did against eUnited. Talking about the tiebreaker rules here, though, there's a lot of questions on Twitter. How does it work? What really made it interesting here was that when Luminosity played against Epsilon, they both beat each other, but more importantly, they had the same map count. So then it goes to even more crazy tiebreakers. We're looking at the tertiary or the 4th level of tiebreakers. Joe, break it down for us. How does it work today?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously head-to-head. So when you're talking about, you know, Luminosity and Epsilon, they both go 1-1. Then you go head-to-head game win percentage. What are we talking about here? Well, Luminosity beats Epsilon 3-1. Epsilon beats Luminosity 3-1. So it's tied. So then you're looking at overall map count throughout the entire weekend. And that's why we're talking about those map wins that Epsilon just took off eUnited. Because they got that too, now the pressure's on Luminosity. Not only do they have to not lose games versus Millennium and win that match, later on tonight they have to take as many maps off, if not win, against eUnited later on tonight.
We got our score streaks going on all day long. Make sure you are playing along on MLG.TV. You're going to want to stick around for this next one. Millennium could play spoiler. Will they be able to put Luminosity into the hole? That match is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. It is the final day here from Week 3 at the Call of Duty World League, presented by PlayStation 4.